In this video, I'm gonna be explaining you everything you need to know about Python, guaranteed. In fact, this is the package of exactly the same techniques that took me years of hard work to master. So without wasting much of time, I'm gonna be clicking on my Google Chrome browser and I'll open a new Google tab wherein I'll type Python install. After typing Python install, you will see these search results and you have to select the one from python.org. After you click on this link, you'll see some of the methods you can use to install Python. Now you might be on a Mac or on a PC, or you might be on a Linux Ubuntu machine. Wherever you are, you'll get an option to download it for that operating system. I am on a Windows machine, so I will download it for my Windows operating system. So let's click here and start downloading Python. So as you guys can see that I am now downloading this Python, and it will take some time depending upon your internet connection. Now open a new tab and write Visual Studio Code install. Now Visual Studio Code is an awesome IDE and source code editor which can help you edit your Python code in a fantastic manner. We'll see how to use Visual Studio Code extensions. We'll see how Visual Studio Code will make things easier for you. Also, I'll be walking you through the entire procedure so you don't have to worry about anything. All you have to do is click on this search result and you will be directed to this page wherein you can download Visual Studio Code for Mac, PC or Linux, wherever you are. I am on a Windows operating system, so I'll download it for my Windows operating system. As you can see, it has also started downloading. Now we have Python and Visual Studio Code being downloaded to our system. Now I would like to discuss why this course is gonna be different from free and paid courses out there. First of all, this is a completely free course. You don't have to pay for anything. Secondly, I'll be including a lot of exercises, quizzes and a lot of interacting stuff throughout this course. So if you are a complete beginner or you want to become a master champion of Python, this is the course for you. I'll be holding your hands to walk through exact steps which can help you write powerful Python programs. Guys, before starting this video, I want you to give this video a thumbs up and comment down your name and the place you hail from. That way, I'll be able to share anything that I bring in the future. Like for example, I can bring in some cheat sheet or I can give you some Python notes absolutely free. I'll be replying to your comments, so make sure that you comment your name and the place you belong to. That way it'll be easy for me to share stuff with you. So guys, as you can see that I have my Visual Studio Code and Python downloaded on my system. The next step is to install both of these softwares. In order to install Python, I'll double click on this installer since I am on a Windows operating system. So all you have to do is click install now. But before that, and this is gonna be a really very important step, you should check this at Python 3.72 path. This is really very important, so make sure that you check this one and then click on install now and give it some time to install on your operating system. It will take some time and it will install on your system. Installation of a software is something that you guys have done, so I don't need to comment more on that. After installing Python, we are gonna install Visual Studio Code, which is nothing but a source code editor. I have my Visual Studio Code downloaded as well, but I want to make sure my Python is installed first, and I'll fire Visual Studio Code launcher after that. Guys, Python has been topping the charts of popularity and ease of usage day by day, which is the reason I want you to master this language completely. So guys, as you can see that setup was successful, and I'll close this now and I'll double click on my Visual Studio Code setup so that I can install Visual Studio Code. Now I know that you know how to install a software. You have to click I accept the agreement and just you have to click on next, install, and it is done automatically. I am doing this for some of the people who might get some issues during installation of Python and Visual Studio Code, so I want to make sure that I do not skip any step, which is why I am installing Python and Visual Studio Code. After this, we'll go to our Visual Studio Code welcome screen and I'll show you what you need to do to run your first Python program there. So Visual Studio Code is installed and it took very less amount of time to install the software. We'll click finish and it will launch Visual Studio Code for me. So this is the interface of Visual Studio Code if you are using it for the first time. All you have to do is click on this one, and once you click on this Explorer, it will ask you to open a folder. You can open any folder of your choice and you will see the files and directories of that folder here. But I want to make sure that you know about this gear button, wherein when you click on this gear button you get some options like command palette settings, online service setting. A lot of things are there, but you have to click on settings and you can change the settings as and when required. So you can click on user and there will be another option called workspace whenever you open a new folder. So I'll open a folder very quickly here, and I'm going to be creating a new folder and I'll name it Programming with Harry Python course, and I'm gonna be giving it this name so that I know that this is part of my Programming with Harry Python course. I'm gonna be saving all the files here. I'll click on select folder and this folder should open here. It is taking some time, but let it take some time and you will see the folder open here. I'll be closing this welcome screen, but feel free to play around with interactive playground, and there are other things like printable keyboard cheat sheet. You have their Git repository, you have the product documentation. A lot of things are there, but again, you don't have to look through them because I'm going to be sharing with you everything you need to know about Visual Studio Code. When you click on gear button and you click on settings, you will see user and workspace. User settings are the settings that will be changed for any folder you open on this computer, but workspace settings, if you change any workspace setting, it will be reflected only on this workspace, only on this folder we are working on. Now you can search the settings as well. For example, if I type zoom, and if you check this one, editor mouse wheel zoom, and if you click on this one, it will zoom the font of the editor when you press Ctrl and use your mouse wheel. This is very handy. For example, if I click on this button to create a new file, by the way, this is the button to create a new file, this one to create a new folder, and this is all you need to know for now. And if I type main.py, it will open a py file, a Python file for me to edit. Now if I type something here which is not a valid syntax, and I press my Ctrl key and use my mouse wheel, I can increase the font and decrease the font, and this is really very useful for me because I have to record videos for you, and while recording videos I need this feature. Again, you can search for some other feature like font size. You can change font size, and once again, if you change it in workspace, it will be reflected only for this folder. If you change it in your user, it will be reflected for all the folders you open on this computer. Now, if you click on this one, this open settings JSON, it will open the JSON file for the settings, and you can see that I have this editor.mousewheelZoom set to true. Now, why is this important? This is important because let us say you have some 20-30 settings changed for your Visual Studio Code in your home computer, and you want to port all these settings to your office computer. You can save this JSON file, you can copy the content, and you can paste the content of your Visual Studio Code settings JSON file at your office computer. That way you can easily port your settings and you don't have to check the buttons here. But again, if you want a user interface to change the settings, you can do it here. I hope this is clear, and again, if it is not, keep watching the videos and keep absorbing the information slowly, step by step. I'll close this settings in settings.json for now, and we will write our first Python program. But before that, you'll have to install some extensions. Now, what are the extensions that I recommend? First of all, you need to type code